If you're a heating and air conditioning technician or even a salesperson, what is the most common commission in-home sales, and why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Silverman, coming to you live from Sacramento, California, on a perfect day to talk about sales and business, and a fantastic day to talk about you. I'm coming to you live for HVAC Technicians Sales Secrets. So I do get this question occasionally. Hey, Scott, what is the most common commission that people make? And how much do they make? Well, let's just start here. Some technicians and salespeople can make $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year, $400,000, $500,000. There's people making $2 million. So it goes up to the point. Those $2 million dudes and chicks are like way up here at the top. There's a lot of specific things that happen to get them there. Not knocking it. It just is what it is. Okay. So these numbers are going to depend upon how your pay structure is. So one of the most common ways for companies to be paid is an old pricing plan that came from the early 2000s, where commissions could be at 12% if you get full book with no discounts, and then goes to 10% if you've given discounts, and then you have 10% to play with or 5% to play with. It's really going to depend upon your structure. So everything that I'm going to base today is going to be off this pay plan, because some companies pay a flat commission rate. Some companies you work for, they say, as long as you hit a certain amount of profitability, we'll pay 9 or 8%, or depending upon the season, we'll pay 5 or 7%, or depending upon if you add in. There's some variables that I don't always know when people are asking. So no matter what the story is, you have to put in the work, you have to put in the effort, but why don't we optimize for the right thing? So sometimes people will say like, hey, Scott, I need to get to 8% commission on every one of my jobs. We can do that. But why don't we work on your closing rate first? Like, this is where I'm saying most people start in the wrong spot. Most people don't go to the right place. We should be talking about your closing rate, not how much you're making on each sale. Because if you're closing and your closing rate's up, this is going to throw the variance off, and I'll give you a number here in a second. So the average closing rate in-home services, plumbing, roofing, heating and air, across the board, all the things that go into in-home, is somewhere between 27 and 33%. So if we can get you to 40%, 50%, 60%, some of this is going to take care of it on its own. So you have to work on your closing skills. So what happens is the mind goes, I need 8%. Okay. So you get super rigid in your sales process and you don't make deals happen. So you're leaving money on the table. So it's kind of backwards. That's why I'm starting with what's your closing rate, right? So when somebody goes, hey, Scott, I want to have 10% commissions on every job that I sell, I go, great, what's your closing rate? And they tell me 25. I'm like, you're optimizing for the wrong thing. You're looking at this backwards. Okay. So if you're making and you're working on this spread, this 12-10 pay plan or this 10% pay plan, you should be shooting for an 8% commission across like a spectrum of time, not on every call, across your average. It should be about 7.5 to 8. Okay. So there's a bunch of ways for you to increase your perceived value. There's ways for you to get to the sale, to close the deal instead of giving a discount and help your client. But before we get there, you should absolutely join my email publication, hvactechsecrets.com. I'll give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel, which means private coaching, private training, discounted training. It's an email publication. You'll freaking love it. And occasionally I try to sell you stuff because I'm a sales guy. Okay. So here's how you can induce a sale instead of giving a discount. But you have to understand what's your value versus your cost. So like when you go to the car dealership and they're like, what's the MSRP? What's the suggested retail on this thing? They may say 50 grand, but in all realities, that's a $40,000 car. Okay. So we're going to look at products and services like MSRP. Don't make anything up. Don't lie. Don't cheat. Don't steal. But if there is an MSRP, you could use this in your sales process. The book value may be $1,500, but instead you're charging $1,000. So someone says, I want a discount of $1,000. I may go, hey, listen, I'm not doing you any favors by giving you a discount. Why don't we take care of your indoor air quality? I will, in order for you to move forward today, I will give you an air scrubber. Okay. I don't know your numbers. Let's say it's 1,000. That's what I'm going to use to induce the sale. Somebody says, Scott, I want a discount. I'm going to say, hey, I'm allowed to get you a longer warranty, a 10-year parts, 10-year labor warranty. In your book, that may be $600. Instead of giving $1,000 discount, now you're discounting $600. Before you discount, what you should be looking at is how can I increase the value, right? Because chances are good your competition is going to go, well, it's 20,000. If you want 1,000 off, it'll be 19,000. Like that's shenanigans. That's silly. Like, if somebody comes to me and says it's 20,000, I want money off, I'd be like, okay, how am I supposed to do that? I'm gonna use some Chris Voss. And then I'm gonna say, hey, instead of us giving you money off, why don't we give you something that's really gonna help you? Right? Here's what I could do for you today. I can give you my air scrubber. Normally they're $1,500. You want to move forward. You actually made $500 difference on the deal. You're actually getting $500 more than a discount, right? If I know that it cost me $1,000 and that's what goes against, but the book price is $1,500, some books are written this way, then you could use it to help close that deal to increase your closing rate, which is going to give you more opportunity to make more money. Okay. So here's the other thing. Somebody says, I don't want to pay 20 grand. I want to pay 17. I go, great. You're on a gold system. Let's take you to a silver, right? Hey, you're on a gold. Let's take you down. Let's take you down a plan. That's easy enough to fix. Have that conversation. This will help you increase your average ticket over time. Like, everybody wants the answer. It's going to happen right now. I want it right now. I want it today, right now. Like, that's not real. That's not how it works. I'm not going to make you promises that I can't keep. So there's an investor statement, and this is, you set the price, I set the terms. So if somebody's really stuck on a price, I'm going to go, the only way I can do that is under my terms. You're going to set a price, I'm going to set a term. This is the word track. You're going to set the price, I'm going to set the terms. You want it to be $17,000, it's going in tomorrow. Well, I can't do that. Like, it's the only way that I can make this math. Okay? Which in turn is going to increase my closing rate. Like, in a perfect world, everybody's going to get everything they want, which doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. I want to pay the least amount. I want to pick the date. I want to pick the service. I want to pick the crew. Like, no. It doesn't work that way. You set the price. I set the terms. You set the terms. I set the price. Right? Somebody comes to me and says, Scott, I want an install tomorrow. I'm like, great. Then you're paying full book. Well, I don't want to pay full book. Then we're not doing it tomorrow. Right? It is what it is. So what does an average technician or salesperson make on commissions to bring this full circle? Somewhere around 7.5% to 8%. That's about the average. And that's with a 35% closing rate. Okay. So the people that I've worked with, my goal is to get them to 8.5% commission with a 50 or 60% closing rate. Does it happen with everybody? No, because then I would be making stuff up, and that would be es no bueno for you. You got 1 of 3 things to do from here. Just 1 of 3. Find the subscribe button. Click on it every time I send out a video. You'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.